tell everyone to bring
But
water.
it is okay to drink the water as long as you don't drink it
the
every day.
water's okay. Not
well,
gonna-
it's not. But,
But
we're a high-class organization.
yeah.
So this is Madison. Madison is actually the key to this entire event. And I'm not saying that as a joke, because it's...
As she drools and barks on herself.
That's not why. Madison's the reason that Marissa stopped trans-channeling when she became pregnant and hadn't channeled until we connected, which was 2 weeks before Madison was born. And when she started channeling, it was Madison's energy that was part of the new alignment that, there she says, that allowed Marissa to channel from higher sources. So, and then Madison came in. Marissa will tell more about what Madison's all about, but Madison definitely has an agenda, and and already has decided she's going to write her higher self has told us this. She's going to write her own series of children's books. I mean, she's a mover and a shaker.
Like Madison and Mom, like before she could even talk, her higher self was coming in basically saying, "We're going to write some books, but they're going to be by me." It's like, really? Okay.
Okay, so someone probably should hold Madison because, well, okay.
Yes, so we've got a few people who need to come back in here before we start. Here we go. Yeah, she's got your one. All right. So I wanted to bring her out to show you guys how innocent you were. Not calling you evil right now at all. You devious people. No, and I apologize. I had to clear something. Energy kind of got on me. I don't know if anyone saw it shift 10 minutes before we took the break, but I just went and cleared myself. So we're all good now. Anyways.
One thing I do want to just comment on, she's always talking about she's clearing energy and demons appear. I don't see any of it. I don't feel any of it. I don't know what she's talking about.
Because he's the skeptic.
Well, no, it's not because I'm a skeptic. It's just I'm not part of that.
Yeah.
So, actually, I've never asked you this question this way. I mean, when you say you see a demon, what is it you actually see? Is it like in the movies? You got I mean, what is it that you're seeing? What do these demons
Isabel,
look like?
where'd she go? Oh, yeah, earlier. No, she scared me in the car. So actually, this actually goes perfectly with the spiritual credit score stuff that the guides taught us. The spiritual credit score, well, I was in loans, so of course it was credit score. And it's spiritual, and it's basically our spiritual credit score, like where our frequency is at any given time. So I can kind of go into that a little bit. What I see is I used to see, when I would see stuff like that, I used to literally see the guy from Scream, like the guy with the mask, that really creepy guy with the long O mouth. That's what I would see, and a black caped guy. Or I would see literally the South Park Satan, in my head. I've seen the South Park Jesus too. It's really? But it's when you think right now, this is the exercise that I do before all of my intuition development classes, is I have you guys go in and imagine the beach. Just close your eyes, imagine what the beach looks like, and you could even do it right now. And then I'll finish answering his question, but so this way you can understand how it is that I see. So imagine the beach. Imagine what the temperature is, the waves crashing on the shore, maybe the seagulls flying by, kids playing on the beach, or maybe it's an empty beach. Just kind of imagine what it feels like, but what does it look like? And what part of your brain are you looking at it with? You can't really describe it. I mean, you can feel it on a side of the brain, or you feel like the picture is coming from one side of the brain, but it's kind of like seeing a memory. It's kind of like seeing something that you've done before. But when you're saying beach, what happens is our minds are trained to see. So as soon as I say something, like I say beach, you see beach, and then as soon as you see it in your mind, then you feel an emotion about it. So you emote about it. So you go, oh man, I wish I was at the beach. You get frustrated. Or, if my boss would give me more time off, I could spend more time at the beach. And you get angry. Or you go, oh, the beach, how peaceful. Wow, that's so nice. Even if you have the crappiest boss in the world, you don't think about the boss, you think about how amazing the beach is. So as you can kind of feel that, some of you will feel it more. Some of you may smell it. It's called clairgustance. Like you can actually smell spirit. It's like the grossest smell ever. It's like smell. Does anyone get like the rotten egg, like dirty sock smell, or cigarettes, or rosemary, or pine, or just smells that are like out of the middle of nowhere? It's like, where is that? Who's smoking? And it's like, no one's smoking. That's because it's spirit. That means that you're one of the lucky ones that smells energy. It's like the worst. I used to wear essential oils underneath my nose right here when I first started like doing mediumship because I could smell stuff and I was like, oh my God, it always smelled so bad. But the way that you saw the beach, that's how I see these creatures or beings. And of course, there's a plane of consciousness that's above all this duality and all that, but we live in a world of duality. We live in a world where there's good and bad. We live in a world where there's dark and light. And we have to kind of play by those rules when we're humans, So I used to get a flash of like a scary character from like a movie or something that was like a bad guy, and I'd be like, oh my God, when I'm in the middle of doing someone's healing. Why am I thinking about, this movie that I saw where, this guy did this to this person or whatever, and then I'll tell them that I'm seeing that, and they'll be like, oh my God, that's so weird. I'm actually like going through something like that.
So when you see things, obviously any clairvoyant or medium would see the demon in their own
way. Yeah.
There isn't like an objective way that the energy appears.
Yeah.
But any medium would feel the negative
Feel
energy.
it, yeah. And a lot of people, like, I didn't believe in that stuff before. I believed in angels, but I didn't believe in the other side. I didn't believe in the fallen ones. It's like there's so much out now, so many healers that are like, oh, it's just airy-fairy, and everything's wonderful over there, and just intend for your highest and best, and all the angels will just surround you. And it's like, no, there's a lot of crap out there. But it's as long as you know there is, you can ask for protection. You can ask to raise your vibration or raise your spiritual credit score. As long as you are, like, say you're super, super happy, you're not likely to run into something like that. You're not likely to. If you don't believe in, say, like angels or demons, you're going to see bright light, dark light. Or you're going to see a black little blob or like a weird little energy or something, because we're all energy. I was tell a real quick story. I was in the MRI tube. I had a huge fibroid, and we weren't going to be able to get pregnant. So I'm laying in the MRI tube for like the second or third time, and I'm like, God, this is so boring. It was freezing. It had taken him forever to get the IV in. My arm was throbbing, and I'm laying here, and I'm hearing clunk, 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 laying in that tube. And I heard one of my guides come in, and they always say what we would like to say. So I hear what we would like to say, and I was like, oh, they're here. They're going to come lecture me about something, because I was working through a lot of stuff with the fibroid and trying to get pregnant and all my old stuff that I had shoved down in the lower chakras and not dealt with. So I was like, oh, they're going to come lecture me. And I heard, call in oxygen. And I was like, and they were like, no, call in oxygen. And again, I'm not hearing this with my ear. I'm hearing it like it's my mind, but it sounds a little bit different. So it's like a thought that comes from over here. And so I'm like, oh, call in oxygen, like calling in grandma, calling in a spirit. So I was like, calling in oxygen. And all of a sudden in my mind, like almost like with my eyes, I could see this lady going like, hello, I'm oxygen. Like she was just like all billowy, and she had like a white dress, and she was all like airy-fairy. And I was like, oh, hey, oxygen, what's up? And then I hear, call in carbon. And I think the Lego movie was out at that time. And I see this black Lego man soldier come in, I'm carbon. And I was like, okay. And then it was like, call in nitrogen as a little green Lego man. And I was like, what is your point? My guide's name was Abraham that was coming at that point. He says, the point is that you're in a human, so you're going to see everything as a human. But you're not a human, you're consciousness. Just like oxygen is just energy, but you're seeing it as a human because that way your mind can personify it. That way you can go, oh, it's light and refreshing and airy. That's oxygen. So our minds are going to place persona basically on energy. And that's why I was saying in some planes, like say, Terry, some of her energy's over here and she's gone. I may see it as her, because how else am I going to know it's her? How am I still going to know it's her? Or whether I see it as a person, it doesn't mean her spirit's here. It doesn't mean she fragmented. It doesn't mean that she has a cord. It's just some of her energy's here, so I'm seeing it as a person. So a lot of, like I was saying earlier, a lot of mediums will see stuff and they'll go, oh, a spirit's here or a soul is here. There's people that do, what is that called when you hold something? Not kinesia, the mediumship where they hold something. Someone's got to know. Psychometry, yeah, psychometry. Where they hold the item and then they do a reading based on that. There may be a soul there talking, but it's most likely they're just reading the energy off the item, and not realizing it, And I'm not saying everyone that's how it is, but that's a good way to learn mediumship through that. But basically, like energy, we see it as people. So angels, I don't think they're people, but I think we see them as people, and same for the other side stuff.
Okay, let's get to the exercise.
So what I want to teach you guys to do, I'm going to do this exercise. I'm going to clear the, what they want to do first is the spiritual credit score thing. Okay, all right.
This is very typical when we're in session. Like, I'll always ask a question, and then the guys are saying, no, not yet. First we have to explain this, and then you get the answer to your question. So
yeah.
Let's go through the spiritual.
Okay, so the guides are here. So they're basically coming in. So I've got my higher self, which, like I said, our higher self is just like our future self. That's how I see her. She comes up right behind me. I'm going to do this. When I do this exercise, I'm going to have you guys call in your higher self and show you where they stand when they're around you. And you'll actually kind of like feel like energy somewhere around you, whether it's above you or within you or around you. Because I want you to get familiar with what it feels like when you call in this higher energy, So we're going to do that. But basically, they came in with something called the spiritual credit score. So the guides are coming in. They're saying, no, you have to teach about this because this is the basis of everything. Okay, fine. So spiritual credit score, has anyone ever heard of the David Hawkins scale of consciousness? One. Okay. It's this thing, this David Hawkins, and I think that his was, he got it from someone else, but it's a scale from 0 to 1,000. And, they have machines that test this stuff. We're going to get to meet with them, not heart mouth with Gary, but they have machines that can test your frequency. So when your frequency is high, basically, you are healthy. Your energy is basically thriving. When your frequency is low, that's when we start to get disease. That's why essential oils work, because they have a high frequency. They raise your vibration. Healers are not healing anyone. Healers are, in essence, acting as like jumper cables to bring someone's vibration back up. So when we have a negative thought about ourselves, like, oh, I'm never going to make that, our vibration drops, the guides have said, like 12 points, like immediately for like 15 minutes. And it stays like that. So just imagine 5 or 6 repetitive, negative, like bashing, self-bashing thoughts, in a row, you take yourself down in a lower vibration. So basically what they said was 0 to, I can't remember the exact, but like 0 to 100 is kind of like 0 to like, I think 20, 30, 40, it's like, just like angry, fear, all of like the really things that we don't like to feel. I think it's once you get up to about 300, you're at acceptance. And then 400 is like gratitude. And then you get up to like, I think 700 to 1,000 is enlightened. And the technique I'm going to teach you guys in basically talking to your higher self is you can figure out what your spiritual credit score is at any given time. The reason why it matters is because you may not be in touch with your emotions. So what was Bill's credit score was like 12 or something like that, because he's...
I need to explain a little bit of defense here. So,
mine wasn't any higher.
No. It's interesting because I had a given credit score that was actually very high, which is more like your potential when everything is aligned and life is really great. I was like super high, like 512. But because I deal with a lot of difficult people sometimes, I guess, I'm in business, I guess I was taking on a lot of their energy. So for whatever reason, I think it was a 19, not a 12.
Oh, okay.
But yeah. But so my average moment-to-moment score, even though I had the potential of 500 or 600, it was very high, of course. But on a daily basis, I was down there around 19.
Yeah.
So, but it's useful, and one of the books is, on your skeptic's guide. And I'm still skeptical, but it works. So I don't know. But it's worthwhile exploring, and it's fun. So
Yeah.
let's do it.
So basically, your spiritual credit score is like is going to attract like. So I want you guys to imagine this. Basically, we've got 2 buildings. Okay, so this is the 3rd dimension, 3D, 4D. Okay, 3D is your physical body. It's everything that you can see. Basically, the chairs you're sitting on, which are just energy as well. They just happen to be more dense. You know, you have eyeballs in your head, so you can see the dense matter. But you also have senses that can feel the other stuff, like the 4D, 5D. 5D would be like the Christ consciousness that they talk about in Revelations and all that Christ consciousness coming back. It was a shift that took place in 2012, or the Mayan calendar. It was actually a shift to where we can actually access this pure compassion, forgiveness frequency over here. But not many people are over here, so we're all over here. So the 4th dimension right here is the spirit world, the dream world. It's energy, emotions, it's feelings, it's memories, it's basically your storage unit. Okay, so you store stuff in here, and it's also called your subconscious mind. So your subconscious mind is basically storing everything in here and all the other dimensions too. So let's say that you are born, there's 12 layers. You're born, and most kids are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. Close enough. So all the kids are basically here at like a 5, level 5. So what happens is emotions is what dictates where you're at on here. Okay, so whatever you have, whatever emotions you have in your field is basically where you're gonna be. So you can be in like the most amazing mood ever, and your friend can be like in like the worst mood ever. You can walk into the same room, and she'll be like, "Oh my God, look at everybody in here is like totally vibing us," and blah, 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 blah. And you're like, "Oh my God, everyone's so happy." What? I don't get it. You're in the same room, looking at the same people. You and your friend are very similar, and you think the same way, but her spiritual credit score is a little bit lower because she's maybe taken on some energy from her kid or her kid's teacher even, or her husband or her husband's friend or whatever, some stuff from work. So what happens is when we're on the 3rd level, this is basically like Earth right here. So you're not going to see really any sort of like, this is the dream world, spirit world. So you're not going to see any other spirits other than like ghosts right here. When you go up higher and higher in these levels, you get higher and higher into like the heavenly realms and stuff. So kids operate up here, therefore a lot of them see their angels. But as soon as life starts hitting them, they go to school, they get insecure. Little Bobby, the bully, kicks little Tommy, and now Tommy feels like nothing, and it, triggers some, basically drops him down to here. And then over here, he's taken on some energy from mom, but he wasn't experiencing it because he was always up here. So he's taken on, mom used to get bullied. So he's taken on some of that energy. So then all of a sudden, the kid gets stuck down here. The little boy gets stuck down here because he got bullied once and starts having night terrors and tremors and starts acting up and doing all of these horrible things. How does it relate to an adult? Just imagine you're in a good mood, and all of a sudden, you just drop into a really bad mood, just all of a sudden. So say you're like right up here. This is where most intuitive people hang out on this level. You get dropped down to here all of a sudden. Who has been driving on the freeway, and all of a sudden you're like, I wonder what would happen if I just crashed into this wall right now. Just turn the wheel and just smashed. Anyone want to admit it? It's like you're like driving, you're like, oh my God, what if that wall just like hit me right now? Like the white walls like freak me out. But there's certain spots in the freeway where I literally will be like, oh, I wonder what if I just flew right off the cliff. And it's like, what are you thinking? What if I accidentally really just like acted on that? Like, I'm not suicidal. You're passing through energy on the freeway where somebody has hit the wall. There's an imprint, like the way that you see like a camera flash. The camera flash on your eye, it's like you follow that, like that spot around on your eye, that's the same thing happens here because we're light. So if somebody passes away, an accident happens, the body leaves, it's like, phew, like flash. And that gets kind of like a stain on the astral plane. And this is the astral plane. So How many times do we drive to work and we're like, I don't even remember getting here. Oh my God, like you have your robot on, your brain goes into theta again. Theta is where your brain is programmable. You can tune into your guides. You can do subconscious reprogramming, hypnosis, all of that stuff. But the thing is that's what you go into in meditation when you start to see stuff and feel stuff. There's people that I've been doing that I've done healings on that have had like, I'll see like, 4 years ago you were driving on the freeway and a spirit got in your field. It doesn't know it's dead. It's just there. And it's not even the soul. It's just, like remnant, kind of like fragment left of like the trauma of being in the accident. And the lady's super depressed. She doesn't know she's passed. So I crossed her over and the person's depression went away. I told this story last night. So the one lady, she was leaving her husband, her triplets. They were like 3 years old. She was just going to take off and leave. And so I was like, okay, let's get to the root of the problem. And I kept seeing from the eyes of some lady in a Volkswagen Bug, like revving her engine like, that mofo, blah, 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 like cursing and yelling. And I could see like through her eyes, and this is when I was doing a healing, some guy like in an old 80s like or 70s like Ford truck, like an old Chevy, and you hear like, oh baby, yeah, he's like cheating on her with like some girl like in his truck. And the lady who I was kind of seeing from her eyes like took her Volkswagen Bug and tried to run it into them, and they reversed and she went off like the cliff. I saw that they're at the not Bataquitos, over there, San Elijo. So I told her, I said, 3 years, 8 months, and 2 days ago, I see this, blah, 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 blah. She went back. It was the day of her birthday. She said she was going to the bathroom. They had drank. They were having a great time. And she got in a really, really, really pissed off mood, went back and accused her husband of cheating on her. And since then, their marriage was falling apart. The kids, they were like battling over this and that, so she basically like got taken over by an energy and didn't realize it wasn't her own, and so they're going through all this divorce stuff. They're together now. The kids are happy. Everything's good because we crossed over the spirit that didn't even know it was there, and it was in her field affecting her subconscious mind. Because again, we don't know whether it's ours or not. If it's there, it's ours, and we act on it. So the spiritual credit score, basically say you're down here in like a really bad mood. You're going to remember all of the things that you remembered, like you get in a fight with someone, and say you get in fights between 1 and 10, you get in a fight that's like a 3, You remember, oh yeah, I remember the last time you didn't open the door for me, and then you didn't do this, and you didn't call me back, and I called you back, and da-da-da, and then it escalates to like a 4 or 5, and then it's like, oh, and then remember this time, and this time, and this time, and then it escalates and escalates and escalates. Look at this as your storage unit. It's like a hard drive. So that's your storage unit right here. Now, what I'm going to tell you guys is if you stay grounded in the third dimension, you don't have to worry about energy attachments, things like that getting on you. But every single person in this room has healer energy, so you're living like this. You're like hanging out. You're like hanging out of the third dimension. So, energy can see you. Energy attracts to you. So what you want to do is you want to keep your conscious level high enough, because it doesn't matter if you're up here, whether it's by being happy, releasing negative energies, releasing stuff through intention or the techniques I'm teaching you guys, or asking your higher self to raise you up to the top and then surround you with protection, like doing like the snow globe, calling in my higher self. Now you're your higher self. Now you're like, I think that we went through one time, Scott and I, and we actually figured out that the higher self had like a 10,000 or something like that. Like it's like a very high frequency. Archangel Michael was like 54,124 or something. So imagine if you're down here at like a 19. I think I was the one that was like 11 or 12. But you're down here because as a healer, those either healers, you're stepping into other people's neighborhoods all the time. You're going into their field, you're going into their bubble, and you are going to be susceptible to everything that is in their field. So if your vibration basically is down here, you're not asking for some form of protection around you, you're going to leave that healing with lots of goodies, lots of stuff in your field. It's the same with just, giving advice to friends and stuff. When you start relating to them and saying, oh, I wonder how they feel. I wonder how they feel. Oh, God, that happened to me before. Oh, man, I know how you feel. You're tuning into their energy and kind of taking that on. And again, this isn't to scare anyone because it shouldn't be scary. It should be like, oh, wow, that's why I act like a freaking lunatic sometimes. Oh, my God, that's why I'm so, rude sometimes. I may have taken on energy from someone else. I joke and say the T-shirt that I need to do after my level 1 class, that wasn't me, it was my ego. Because it's learning the difference between our ego, which is fear. It's going to tell us we're going to fail, nothing's going to go right. It's everything in us that's telling us that we're not a spirit living in a human body and that we don't have a higher self that knows our whole plan. Our higher self is communicating with the spirit and guiding us. So the spiritual credit score, I want you guys to do something real quick. I want you to, in your mind, I want you to say, I am now my higher self. And I want you to imagine that you have a ball 2 feet above you. That ball represents the highest possible version of your higher self, because we've got a lot of them. Highest possible version. And I want you to pull it down in through your head and down right by, what's that? It's not the chest bone. It's right by the bottom of your ribs, above the solar plexus. Yeah, there, yeah. So pull the ball down there. Just imagine that it's right there. And then I want you to say, yes, 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 in your mind, or show me yes. And your attention will go to one side of your brain. And then say no, or show me no, and your attention will go to the other side of your brain. If anybody's having a hard time, let me know. Raise your hand if you're not. Yeah. So close your eyes and hold space here. Let's see, make sure there's no block. Okay, so imagine that you have something that's in the center of your brain instead of from here. I'm going to call on your higher self. You have a block. Here we go. Some stuff going blocked from 3 years ago. Okay, there we go. Do you feel the energy kind of coming in now a little bit more? Okay, yeah, you had something 3 years ago? You're going through stuff? Okay, yeah, it was 3 years ago. And, so it's the, when we start going through stuff, when we start hating God, or hating whatever it is that's controlling our life. We're in complete control of our life, but we go, the guides joke around with me and my dad, and they say, oh yeah, they always say oh, look what God did for me, or look what God did to me when it's bad, but look what I did for myself when it's good. It's we look at it like that, like something else caused that. And that causes blocks, like what she was having, where she got angry at the higher self. But again, probably, even if she didn't even know what a higher self was, it's still kind of like this subconscious cutoff. So I'm going to remove everybody's blocks today so that you'll have free-flowing energy. Did anyone else have a hard time connecting with that energy? You did? Okay. You? Okay. Why don't we just remove everyone's blocks right now? That's easier. So just close your eyes. And again, if you weren't having an issue with that, I want you to say, calling in the next highest piece of myself. And I want you to imagine a ball of light that's even above the one that you called in before. Could be way up in the sky. I want you to make sure it's coming directly from above. And as that light energy comes down, there we go. It's going to come into your mind. So removing all blocks. It's commanded that each higher self in here remove any emotional blocks, mental blocks, spiritual blocks. There we go. The attachments. And as you call that light in, pull it down into the heart. And then one of the techniques they've taught us is just saying, in your mind, just say 0. This is going to take you to the 0 point within yourself. And then in your mind, just say, show me what you feel like, or give me a message, or it's not going to be like the lights from heaven shining down and something coming in. You'll just think a thought. Or you may hear like love, or be nice to yourself, something like that. There we go, there's a lot of spirits around you. Okay, got that clear. There we go. And then you can practice by doing the show me yes and show me no. And the difference between doing this and doing normal muscle testing is what you're doing is you're actually connecting in with your higher self and allowing the higher self to answer rather than the subconscious, which could be confused and have other people's energy in it and give you incorrect answers. But now you can ask a question like, is my spiritual credit score above 300? If it's like no, okay, above 200, 100. You may even just hear a number in your head. I'm just removing the blocks around people, and some people had some spirit energies around them that were crossing over. And now I want you to say, any energy that belongs to, I don't know, somebody in your life, get in the box, and you're going to imagine kind of like a box or a square or a cube or something like in front of you. Just imagine that there's like a table there or something. There's like a massive energy there. So any energy that belongs to husband, get in the box. And when you do that, you're going to notice that this box that you've created with your mind, your imagination, I see like a little like cardboard box, or sometimes I see it as a clear box. Just create like a construct or like a box within your mind and say, any energy that belongs to them, get in there. And it may get all heavy or dark or it'll shift. And then you're going to ask your higher self to send an energy in that will erase the energy, or like basically erase the box. So you may see like a beam of light come shooting down. You can imagine that you're erasing it with like a dry eraser board eraser thing. It doesn't matter how you get rid of it. It's quantum healing. So it's just the act of observing this and watching the energy disappear is cutting cords. It's releasing subconscious belief patterns. It's doing way more than you could ever possibly imagine, even if you don't know anything about it. Now you can say something like, I'm super frustrated. Show me the root of that. And just kind of imagine that the root of that goes into the box in front of you. There we go. Just helping a few of you connect. There we go. And again, like I said in the beginning, you may see nothing, but just imagining it, as long as you're connected to your higher self, it's actually doing something, which is crazy to believe, but it's all. There we go. Okay. And now ask what your spiritual credit score is. Ask what number you're at. Am I above this? If it's a yes, you'll feel your attention go to one side, no, the other side. It's a pretty reliable way of muscle testing whether something's healthy for you, whether you should do something or not, as long as you're connected to your higher self. Does anybody want to share anything they saw or felt or didn't feel or did feel or... Did you feel anything or?
I did. It was all here. I don't know exactly what I felt, but a lot was released from, I don't know if it's thyroid or, but yeah, I kept feeling just releasing, and I was like, okay, no, it's not that. It's got to be something else, but it kept coming back to that.
Okay. So did you say anything specific, like release any energy that
I
belongs
did.
to someone? Was it a specific person?
It
or-
was.
Okay. So.
Should I say who?
You can, yeah.
My husband.
Oh, your husband. Okay. Those darn husbands. Where's mine? I heard Poochie bark outside, so he's obviously out there with her. So your husband. So what you can do is when you realize maybe something's based on the husband, it's not you did this to me, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault. It's not even about that. It just is. Somebody could be a certain way, and if you choose to stay, then you are wanting that, obviously. So one thing that can help when you're releasing stuff to another person, or you're releasing something like that, where it's like, oh, wow, I feel all this stuff releasing. And you're like, oh, man, it's because of so-and-so. You always have to ask yourself, what am I getting out of this? Even cancer, even sickness, what am I getting out of this? What's my human getting out of it? Okay, so what I get out of, my husband, basically being rude to me is I get to feel like a victim. And when I feel like a victim, people feel bad for me, and it doesn't matter if I'm a total loser, they still love me. I'm a recovered drug addict, basically, so it's like, well, not recovered, it's recovering, and if you're never recovered, I don't know how it goes. Anyways, but the AA and NA people are like, you're not ever recovered, and I'm like, but what? But no, I'm spiritual now. Yeah, right. You'll be back. It's like, well, thank you. So yeah, what you can do is ask yourself, what am I getting out of this? What am I getting out of this? What, am I getting attention? I always use my poor mom for an example. She doesn't ask for help. She doesn't ask for help. She doesn't ask for help. And she won't ask anybody for help. And that's just her. And then she ended up getting rheumatoid arthritis, and she had to ask for help. She had to say, oh, I need help with bills, and I need help with this, and I can't work, and I can't do that. So it's like and then lately her foot started giving out on her, and I'm like, oh my God, she's watching Madison too much. She's not going to admit that she's watching her too much. She's going to get sick instead. So a lot of us, instead of sticking up or saying what we need to say, we get sick instead, So that way people love us no matter what. Doesn't matter. Oh, she's sick. It's okay, Did anybody else? Thank you for sharing that. But seeing what you're getting out of it is very helpful. And then what you can do is that same exercise and just say, show me the root of why I need attention from being sick. Me, I see my mom was a nurse. She'd stay home from work. She'd take care of me, make me chicken noodle soup and give me orange juice and pet my head and all that. And so when I was sick, it was kind of like, oh, it's a good thing. I get off school and so as you go on in your life, do you have I need to be sick? And what you can do is you can start kind of testing these things with your muscle testing, I have a need to be sick. If it's yes, why? What do I get out of it? Okay, this, and this. I'm in an abusive relationship. What do I get out of the abuse? There's something that's getting something out of it, which is probably completely ludicrous and stupid, but the thing is you can release the energy because most likely it's not yours. You got it from your mother or your grandmother or your father or your grandfather. It's come in your DNA, these beliefs. So the faster you can get to your issues. I'm not making money. I can't get a job. My bosses always hate me. I can't be in a healthy relationship, whatever. That finding basically the root by just doing this very simple exercise, it'll change your life because you don't need to... I'm scared of the mic, and now I'm like, oh, yeah. Both of them going on, double fisted. But yeah, so did anybody else have anything they want to share? So here we go. What's your name?
I was just going to say, so I felt this very tingling sensation on the left-hand side while I was asking it to let go.
Uh-huh.
And I have fibromyalgia, and my right side always is in pain. And sitting here today, I've been in intense pain. It's gone right now. It's like completely gone.
That's awesome. So I have
So-
chills everywhere. So if you ask yourself, like when you saw like the root or you saw something come out into the box, I mean, isn't it so silly? It's like logic says we just played a little kid's game and we pretended like there was a box with goop in it and like shot it with light or whatever you did, or a fire hose or whatever. I saw one person, oh, you back there, the next to the guy in the purple shirt, your higher self was like literally with like a fire hose. You were like, psh, like But yeah, yours had all light. It was very like angelic, like energy coming in that was coming through the clear. So what did you feel? Did you feel like you knew the root, or?
Well, I was asking it to release energy from my mom.
There you go. There you go.
So,
And you know what, mom, we chose mom, and we learn our lessons. You know, I think my sister has been my biggest lesson teacher. And it's been very frustrating, but you know, it is what it is, and we chose this for a reason. So it's always good to kind of step outside of yourself and see, what am I getting out of this? What's my ego getting out of it? Like the human, am I getting attention? Do people love me more? Whatever. Am I able to, like me, it's like I can't not work unless I'm sick. If I'm healthy, I have to be working. I can't ever get off the phone. I can't rest. I can't watch TV. I have to be working. So I have to be careful, because then I end up getting sick just so I can take a break. You know, and I learned that from Mr. back there over there, who would get sick every Christmas because he could get sick. That's my dad. But, you know, every Christmas he was on the couch just laid out because it's like he couldn't get sick because he was such a hard worker, you know. So I hope it stays gone. That's awesome. Well, now you know how to get rid of it. Anybody else want to share? Someone from over here.
I have an aversion to saying anything personal, so I'm going to keep this general.
She's like,
As
no
a
nonsense.
healer, or if you see yourself as a healer, one of the hardest things you do is to let go of the idea that you can make people get better, right? So not everybody wants to get better for whatever their reasons are. So it just dawned on me, I already knew that, but it dawned on me when we were doing that exercise that you might have let go of it intellectually, but you're still holding their energies. I didn't know that. And it dawned on me, well, shit, get out of me. I don't want to be this heavy. I don't want to hold on to your energy. That doesn't help you. It doesn't make you safer. It doesn't make you smarter. It doesn't make you healthier. I can't do that. But then where do you go with it from there?
So you're releasing somebody that's needing you to heal them. Is that what you're saying?
Well, my perception is they need to be helped or healed, but they're refusing.
oh, okay.
Whether it's a husband or a son who's got problems, or, you know, whatever, a friend, it doesn't matter. In my case, it's my husband who's been really sick, and I just want to hit him over the head because he's not getting better, but yet he's not getting worse.
How do we feel about my mom?
You know.
That's how we felt about my mom. It's like, oh, she's just the same. It's like she's not letting it in. And one thing the guides told me and my dad very early on was something really cool, and I've hung in there with it, is they said a positive prayer is never lost. A positive energy, sending someone positive energy is never lost. If you can imagine that your snow globe, you know, which actually represents the Taurus field, for the healers out there, it's Taurus, it's the electromagnetic field around us. Anytime, just imagine, they said, imagine kind of like a little ball with like a little plus on it, like a positive thought, you know, and it's like over and it sticks, you know, bubbles stick together, it sticks to their snow globe. So there's a positive thing there. And then, you know, someone's like, oh, that person sucks. Ugh, eh. You know, you send negative energy. So a little negative goes there, and then a positive, a negative, positive, negative, and you have all these little bubbles all around you. And basically, the negative ones get in when you get down here. You know, they all come rushing in, and then everything gets really crappy. But the positive is awesome because it's when our mind finally says, God help me, or something outside of me help me, higher self, angels, God, divine, whatever. And then we open up to all of that healing, and that's how miracles happen. You know, it's like, oh my God, all of these little positive bubbles just came in, just like, you know, charged up the person so much that they healed immediately. So no thought or prayer or anything goes lost by, you know, sending them healing, and he'll be ready to receive it when he is. But I've noticed a lot of people that aren't willing to receive the healing from us as healers, healer to healer, is they're just skeptics about it. Is he skeptical about it?
Hard to tell. He was raised in the Mormon church. So
Oh,
that
okay.
laying on hands thing down
Yeah, yeah. He just feels very skeptical.
He doesn't, he's got a wall up about this.
What it feels like to me with him is more like if he lets you heal him and it doesn't work, he's going to feel bad. Almost feels like he's going to feel responsible, like he didn't heal. And, huh? I know, right?
It's just hard to let go of.
Oh, I know. Oh,
As a
believe.
healer, you want to Band-Aid everything. You want to fix everything. I think women feel that more than men.
Yeah.
Because it's the mom thing.
Yeah, I think so. I just think healers, I mean, we look, it's the one thing that I have to like tie the people's arms behind their back and strap their third eye shut or whatever after Reiki 1, because they want to go heal their family. And one of the things that the guides had told Bill was, what was it? They said that as long as we have like a high spiritual credit score, that it'll raise everybody's around us. So if you can keep your frequency high enough and release anger or guilt or shame or blame or guilt or what one of the girls in here the other day, she was like, I just want to heal everybody in the room. I can't I can feel everyone's energy. And I was like, why don't you muscle test to see if I need to save the world? And it was like, oh my God, yes, I need to save the world. So it's like she's constantly like looking to save the world. But didn't they say the thing about, what was that?
Actually, it was a little bit different. What my experience was, it was more having to do with my brother who came down with cancer.
Oh, okay.
And
I don't remember the session. He
And
remembers them
this-
better than I
well,
do.
This is the other thing, and I want, after this question, you're getting back and you're going to do the exercise.
Okay.
Because they've done all this work, and, okay. So, but it
They
isn't,
released
this
so
is
much.
directly related. So my brother, he's a younger brother, but not, a lot younger, came down with cancer, and he was told, oh, it's really lucky that we found this because it's really severe and you would have been dead in 2 months. But now that we're going to give you chemo and everything, you may live another 2 years. So in that process, I had a lot of love and compassion for my brother that I hadn't been as active with. And because of that, I released, I guess, some blocks, or this is what the guides had explained, and my credit score went way up because of that
Oh, that's
interaction. But to finish the story, because this is something that is kind of remarkable, miraculous. So, of course, I asked Marissa to do a remote healing. She's never met my brother. And this was just a few days before he went in for his first chemo treatment. And this was 6 months ago. And at this time, even though he's done the chemo, after the very first chemo treatment, they said, we don't know what's going on here. We can't find any cancer. And he's right now gained 10 pounds, has not had his hair fall out. He continued with the chemo because it's the cautious thing to do. And they say, it could come back. And, they decided to do the chemo. But the only explanation that I feel is logical is I think Marissa spent about 10 days doing remote healings. So, that's...
He had a belief within him that said, I must be sick to not work.
My brother.
Yeah, I didn't do
don't
very
know.
much healing. I just went in and it wasn't me. It was just I went in and I asked his higher self, I said, what's the root of this? And I heard, I must be sick in order to not work. And so just basically went in and kind of did what I just taught you guys how to do. But on the remote healings, I turn myself into the person. So I do my snow globe, and then I basically say, I am now that person. And then I feel what my energy feels like. I feel, oh my gosh, there's all these creepy crawlies all over me. Okay, I'm going to clear all that out with light. I'm going to clear out my snow globe as them. And then I just, as them, asked, what's the root belief to this? And the first thing that came to mind was, I need to be sick in order to not work. And then when I pulled it, I was like, and then I felt guilty because I didn't work on him forever, because it was like, he's all done. And I was like, really? That's it? Usually it's like a long, drawn-out process. And then I just did like energy healing on him the next few days, and then Bill said, his cancer is gone. I was like, what? It's so awesome. So everything that's in us that causes sickness or illness or depression or fear or bad relationships, anything, it all basically starts out in the subconscious mind with the beliefs that we're willing to hang on to. If we are a victim because mom was a victim, then we are going to enjoy being the victim, and we'll hate everybody that acts like a victim. They're like, oh my God, that person's such a victim. Oh my God, that person's so annoying. Oh my God, because you see it in other people. So this list that you guys did, basically where you admire people, and then the people that bug you. What I'm going to do is we're going to do this meditation. It's going to be like, this will be the longer meditation, because I'm going to go in and attune you guys into these guys up here in the front to the higher self, which I pretty much did with everybody, but it'll be a different level. But with these guys, like the top ones, basically, I'm going to go in and find any blocks that you have to the positive ones. And then any cords or any attachment, any cords that you have like attached to other people, places, and things, like your snow globe is attached to cheater guy over here. So in your mind, your subconscious mind says, I can't have a healthy relationship. So if, somebody that you admire is somebody that's a stay-at-home mom with happy kids and a happy husband and this and that, you want to be the family woman. You may have something that's attached to dad that used to tell mom, why don't you go out and get a job? Like, staying at home isn't a real job. So you may have something like that in your mind. I'm not going to be able to go through everybody and figure out what everybody's exact beliefs are. It would take forever. But I do want to go in, and I will energetically remove the blocks that you guys have. So if you want to, before we do the exercise, if you want to add in kind of like something about like a relationship, because people that you admire, I kind of made it sound more like career stuff, but it's also people who you admire and like who you want to be like, and then also like with relationships and stuff too, because a lot of people, I can feel relationship stuff in here. That's why I keep bringing it up, obviously. So yes. No, the first two rows. Yeah. All right. So which song? Let me give you the phone here to turn the music on. Did anybody's credit score go down when they removed the negative energy from them? Remember we did the exercise before? I was just curious. Oh, okay. I had a girl one time that happened. I want to give him this. Here we go. Can you play this song here? This is the... Guys.
For those people online, we're just taking a minute pause to get some music going.
Oh my God, I know. Oh my God. No, it's okay. I'm just afraid it'll turn off because I don't have access to it offline unless you can put the Wi-Fi on. I think it'll be fine. Okay. I think that'll be fine. Oh my God, thank you. Okay, so this is going to be the cool meditation that's going to remove all the blocks and set your intention before we do this. Basically, of anything you want to let go. Anything, anything from family stuff to work stuff. To personal stuff. You cut yourself down a lot. Things like that. Whatever it is that you do. And just kind of bring that intention into your mind. I'm going to call in the guides and just channel this. It's easier. So just reaffirming the protection around the building, calling in our angels, guides. teachers. Our fifth dimensional selves are higher. You don't need to know what that is. Ask that the white light, golden light, silver light of the Creator fill and surround this room, connecting with my higher self, guides, Saint Germain, as always. So as we bring these energies today, as we bring these energies forward, we say unto you this. As you begin to connect with and understand the vehicle in which you live in, you'll begin to see and know and understand that life is not a mistake. Life is not happening to you. But many of us in our vehicles do not realize that we can take the steering wheel back. We can drive. Please know that today you will be releasing thought patterns that you may not have known you even had, but just allowing within your mind now, in your mind, just setting the intention that anything that's released is for the highest and best good in accordance with my higher self and soul's plan. You don't have to say that exactly, but we're just setting the intention. So closing your eyes, you can use the snow globe, or you can just feel the energy around you. Feel what the energy feels like. What we'd like for you to do is to imagine that you're in an elevator. It's a glass elevator. You can imagine one that you've seen before, like in an Embassy Suites or something, or at a hotel. You're on the first floor. What I'd like for you to do is to just feel and see if there's anyone else in your elevator first. Does it feel like you're in there by yourself? Does it feel like you're alone? If it feels like there's people in there with you, what you're going to do is ask that the doors open, and directly above you there's going to be kind of like one of those things in the elevators that you can crawl up, the trap door. That's going to open, and just a burst of quantum healing energy is going to come through. So it'll come through as white or pink or blue. It doesn't matter what color. Just imagine this light shooting down through the top of the elevator, swirling around and pushing out anyone that's in the elevator with you. They could be spirits, they could be attachments, it could be anything. So you don't need to criticize or judge anything, just allow them to leave. There we go. I'm just helping you guys clear all this stuff. So as you begin to feel clearer, your chest gets lighter, shoulders get lighter. You feel that you're alone in this imaginary elevator. The doors close, and you move up one floor. This is the floor where all of your emotions are. This is the floor where you store everything. Your energy and others. So just kind of feel what the energy feels like. Or look and see. Ask to see if you're in the elevator by yourself. And we're going to come in with the source white light energy from above that will completely clear out that elevator again. And we are helping you with this. There's a couple of people that are stuck on the first. I'm going to help you clear that. There you go. There you go. If you work with angels, yes, you can call in angels to help. I see one of you mopping. It's funny. So allow this second story to clear out. You can open up the doors, push everything out. However you need to clean this space. One person's mopping right now with a sponge. Spray bottle. Awesome. Love it. What you're doing is we're taking you through the different layers of the subconscious. And all these things that you're feeling or sensing are actually beliefs within you, and they may be personified. Doesn't mean that they're people. Some of them may be, though. Now continuing up, go to imagine that you're going to the 3rd floor. And this is the spirit realm. Those of you who are mediums may definitely not feel alone in your elevator. So allow the doors to open, and when the doors open, there's a big bright light, and what you're doing is you're crossing these people over. Crossing the spirits over. They can come right back if they want, and they have free will, so if they don't want to cross over, sometimes they'll just leave and not come back. It's commanded that all earthbound spirits, discarnates, lost souls, cross into the light at this time. There we go. So calling in the light from above, emptying out your elevator, making sure it feels nice and clean. I picture the light as liquid. That's how I see it, but others see it as like flashlight beaming down. There we go. And if you're interested in connecting with loved ones, if you're interested in connecting with someone who's passed, anybody can be taught to be a medium by doing this exercise. But don't talk to them on this story. Talk to them on the next one. So now moving up to the 4th. Just call in the light from above and ask that this be cleared and cleaned. This is the spirit realm. This is what we would call heaven or the upper astral plane. It's also where our higher selves hang out, the first level of them. So just feel what it feels like, imagining that you're on this 4th floor in this elevator. You can look around, look through the glass. Do you see anything? Once you've cleared the energy, I'm helping a few of you that are having a hard time. What you can do is you can imagine that the doors open, and on this floor, it's super bright white light. But you can see that there's a big, huge room outside the doors, and you can call forward mom or dad or the higher selves of people still living, or you can call forward someone who's passed. And you can ask that the connections between the two of you be healed. Many of our subconscious belief patterns that hold us in a state of just being frozen, not going anywhere, may be things that are attached to people that we can't resolve stuff with because they're not here to do that with. So in this fourth story, you can call forward a person. If you and a spouse are not getting along, you can call forward their higher self and say, ask to have those connections healed, and really just call in light from above, or you can imagine what those connections look like, whether it's a cord connected to them or something. Just imagine that getting erased or cleared, and I'm helping with that. I see the people that are calling people in, and I'm just clearing those connections. This is a level that you can go to and safely communicate with loved ones. If you do your meditations after this class, you just have to make sure to clear the bottom levels first, so you don't end up talking to a fragment of somebody that's not real. Now going up to the 5th level, this is where we're going to connect you with your higher self, with the piece of you that knows the whole plan. This is the piece of you that picked your parents. This is the piece of you that knows everything that you need to do in this lifetime. It's not an all-knowing piece of you, but it's a piece of you that you can communicate with on a daily basis fairly easily. So going to the 5th floor, ask that light energy come in from above and surround you. There is no duality on this floor, so you don't have to worry about anything negative. We're going to allow the doors to open in your imagination. When they open, you see brilliant white light, and you actually see you walking towards you. And again, imagining it or just feeling it. Ask them to step into the elevator with you. And again, just imagining it. Once you're imagining that they're there, you go up to, doors closed, you go up to the 7th floor. And this is where you can sit in a state of being able to program your mind. You can say your affirmations, if you're someone who says affirmations, but you'll be in a brainwave where affirmations are more effective. You don't have to say them 5,000 times a week. You can say things like, I love myself. I respect myself. I'm a good wife. I'm a good daughter, a good mother. Simple things like this. And when you say this within your mind, you may actually feel an energy come through you, like your higher self is actually removing the beliefs that are in the way. But you don't need to see anything. You just go and sit here. So we're going to sit for like 5 minutes while I go around and do these attunements. If you're having a hard time connecting, and I release the blockages, you'll probably feel a little bit more connected. But as you sit here on the 7th floor, I want you to imagine that you have in your mind that there's a road in front of you. This can be a dirt road, it can be a freeway, it can be anything, but it's a blank road. This blank road that you're looking down, look at the details. Is it hot outside? Is it cold outside? Is it night? Is it day? This is your soul's path. This 7th floor is your soul's energy, in essence. Many call it the Akashic Records. So just imagine or make up a road in your mind. Look to see it, make sure it's bare. And then in your mind say, show me what the road looks like to be a doctor, or whatever it is that you admire about other people, or a job you admire, or quality. Ask to see what the road looks like. Are there all of a sudden trees in the way, or detour signs everywhere, orange cones blocking the road? And again, you're not going to see this. It's just your imagining. You may see somebody standing in the way, standing right in the middle of the road, blocking you from your life path. That's okay. Because you're just going to ask your higher self to remove any blocks. And when you do that, just say, please remove any blocks. Thank you. I see it kind of like Harry Potter. They're like shooting all the blocks like a wizard or something, but you can see it however you want. But just imagine that your higher self is sending energy to dissolve all the blocks, all the detours, all the whatever's blocking your road. Just send that energy down the road and it will dissolve all of the blocks. It's not necessarily going to change your life overnight, but just as someone said, we have to release the energy or it will continue to come up. We'll go now and do the attunements. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Those that are online actually see that your higher selves are working on you. It's awesome. Ask questions of your higher self or of your soul. It's your creator self. That's what I call it, your creator self. You can ask a message, while you're in this state. Say, do you have a message for me? Is there anything I need to know? Say you have issues with another person. You can say, can you show me that relationship as a road? What does that look like? And then just ask that higher piece of you that's you. It's just wasn't activated until today. Some of you it was. Just ask them to remove those blocks and just, as silly as it sounds, imagine that detour signs or whatever it is, they're just dissolving. Before we begin to go back down, you realize that in this elevator there's a mirror behind you. So you imagine that you turn around. When you look in the mirror, you see your soul's energy, your higher self's energy. It may be color. You may actually personify it and see a being. It may look nothing like you. It may look just like you. But in that mirror, you can see if there's any more blocks that you have, if there's any sort of distortions, if there's any negative energy around you, you'll be able to see it in that mirror. But as soon as you see it, it's almost like it gets vacuumed into the mirror. It goes away. It's gone. So just pretending like you're looking in the mirror from this upper plane of consciousness, and just watch as, or imagine that you go from what you see to completely healed and connected with your higher self. So it's commanded of the Creator that everybody be connected, fully aligned with all layers of their multidimensionality. That their Creator self be attuned in with the heart, crown, throat, and third eye. And that they be sealed and grounded into the earth's plane with their spirit. All cords, attachments, imbalances be released and removed now. And that the meridians, chakras be balanced. There we go. So we're going to begin to drop down, whatever you're doing, knowing you can come back here at any time. Just begin to drop down from the 6th to from the 7th to the 6th, the 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and then the 1st. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. If you have your paper you can write on, just make some notes, because just like the dream world, you may have seen stuff or felt stuff and you'll be like, I was just imagining that. But then if you write it down and then you look at it like a week or two later, it's like, oh my gosh, that actually happened, or I manifested this, or this actually happened. Wow, this is great. Many of you didn't see or feel anything. I actually saw your higher selves going, I'm not seeing or feeling anything. But stuff was happening because I went in and connected you in with a higher state of a higher self. And some of you guys, they're called gatekeeper guides. A lot of mediums, mediums and intuitives, people that are like psychic and stuff, have gatekeeper guides. So it was almost like you had like a guide stuck in between you and your higher self, but I kind of moved them, connected you with your higher self, and then your guide got to stay.
Is that what you were doing when you moved your hands? I noticed you had a lot of hand, because I didn't close my hands.
Oh, cheater.
Were you
tried not to
aware?
do the exercise.
Were you aware you were doing?
Oh, I was doing that? I didn't.
You weren't even.
Oh,
aware.
okay. No, well, I was doing. Yeah. Yeah.
What
No,
were
I
you
don't
doing?
remember doing that, but that's what I do when I heal.
Okay.
I'm doing numbers because I heal with numbers. So I like write the numbers and then, yeah, That's funny. I didn't know I did that. Anyway. But yeah, so does anybody feel a shift or different? Who saw a road? Anybody see a road they want to share? Let's see over here. See lots of smiles from you.
Just saw a dirt road,
Uh-huh.
clear,
Uh-huh.
and then on either side, just beautiful, like grass waving in the wind. Nice little breeze. Sun was shining.
Awesome.
That's what I saw.
Cool. So this is a way, and it sounds so silly, you know. Everyone's always like, "What's my soul's purpose? Why am I here? What am I here for?" We all want to know why we're here, but it's like you can go to a psychic, you can go to a medium, and they can say, "This is your purpose," and then you get all freaking confused because you're like, "But I don't want that purpose. I don't want to do that." It's probably their purpose that they're projecting onto you, you know, or you remind them of somebody, and that's the other person's purpose, you know. So but yeah, it's really cool to just kind of ask to see, and where I'm taking you guys basically when I go through those planes is it's the different levels. They're not the planes of consciousness like theta. They have 7 planes. That's basically taking you through something that I just kind of constructed, but the 7th floor is taking you above the astral plane. The astral plane is this. So when you went up to that 7th, you're going into your like 5D self, which would be like your ascended self or your higher self, creator self. And that's basically the you that's on the soul plane. That's over at like the soul university going, all right, let's see, I'm going to pick these parents, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. And, you know, I want to accomplish this, and I want to learn to love myself, and I want to learn boundaries, and I want to learn this. So, you know, I'm going to have an abusive dad, and I'm going to have this, and ooh, that'll really test me. It's like they told us, we were thinking one time we were channeling guides, we were thinking like, man, when we're up there, we're thinking we're all like hardcore, like, yeah, I'm going to like lay this on me. I'm going to have to experience this, and we get down here and we're like, ugh, why did I do that? But the 5th dimensional self, in essence, is creating a 4th dimensional spirit that lives in a 3rd dimensional being. So it's kind of like if you want to look at it like a video game, this guy is playing this movie in this video game, you know, and so your higher self, the consciousness of the higher self, when you're playing a video game, your consciousness is in the video game player, you know, you're directing it to go around. The only difference is we have free will, so it doesn't matter what our higher self says. We can be like, nah, I don't want to do that. So anyway, who would...
So the dirt road again.
Dirt road, okay.
But I didn't go down the dirt road. I wanted an oak tree. I planted an oak tree, a big oak tree, and I sat under it, and that's where I stayed.
Nice. Cool. Anyone else? Anyone? I can...
I saw my dirt road with beautiful flowers on either side, and then you said something about a tree falling as a block, and all these trees fell.
Oh, no.
And I had like 3 different examples where every single one of them had big trees.
Uh-huh.
And I was trying to heal that relationship or that.
Cool.
But they disappeared in every one of them, so
That's awesome.
hopefully have some good stuff happening here.
Perfect. Thank you. Anyone else want to share anything? Anyone?
Okay, after this.
I saw, well, first of all, first of all, from the meditation, when I called in the 2nd higher self, I felt a really big pressure in my chest. Okay. And then going up the levels, I just kept feeling this urge to just cry. I felt really like sad and scared.
Sad and scared? Okay.
And then when I finally got to the road, I could see, I was like, it was a paved road through like a desert going up to some mountains, but I was seeing blocks and stuff, and I was still feeling kind of scared. So, and I could see, you know, like blocks being removed and cleared, and the pavement was clear and everything. But then I realized I need to turn that power of clearing towards myself and clear that fear that's causing that self-doubt and all that. And then I emerged into this big warrior, and I had a dragon, and it just just blew fire on my road, and all my roadblocks were removed.
Awesome. So see, like, we're playing with our imagination, and you guys can look it up in quantum physics or quantum healing, basically, if you want to look it up. I'm not going to teach about this now, but it's called the double slit experiment. And they teach, basically, in quantum physics, it's the observer in the experiment is what basically causes the outcome. So if they're expecting a wave, they got a wave. If they're expecting, what is it, a wave or a particle. So depending on what they were expecting to see, it was whatever they thought they were going to see. They couldn't see something that they weren't testing for. So they say that we are quantum beings and we're living in a quantum reality. So whatever our intention is, that's what's going to happen. But we have all these blocks, and we have the subconscious mind that's programmed like a little computer that's blocking us from certain things. So, but when you get into this state where you're tuning into your quantum self, which is that seventh, the one that I've programmed in up, or not me, the guides have taught us basically up there, and it doesn't go along with any, like if you go home and look, what's the seventh level? It's just a made up one that the guides have come in and taught us. But going up there and connecting with the higher self up there and setting intentions, saying affirmations, saying, I can't get along in this relationship, what should I do? Show me a road that represents this. And then just allowing your higher self to clear it. Your higher self up there is higher than any guide or totem animal or fairy or angel or anything that you would call in, because it's that stuff's all over here and here. So you guys were like up here. So connecting with that piece of you, your thoughts in that state are very, very, very powerful. And it's above duality, so you can't really do anything bad to anyone, hopefully.
Okay, my suggestion is we take 5 minutes. We have water outside for everyone who might be thirsty. And then when we come back, I'm going to ask Marissa, would you be willing to channel, trance channel? So why don't we do that, and then I'll ask some questions.
I don't know about trance, but maybe almost trance.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Last time I trance channel with this guy was on his t-shirt. No, it wasn't him. No, it was Einstein.
But,
I
well,
can do, I'll do sort of trance. Yeah.
so,
I'll sit
well,
down.
we'll do something as if we were just the three of us alone.
Okay.
And we'll ask some questions about what's occurred here and where we're all going.
Before we leave, I want to teach everyone how to clear their house, because that's important. Because if you're going to be doing these exercises, you're opening up to spirit, and that's the problem with the spirituality getting more and more like what's it called? Cool, trendy. I'm like, hey, I'm picturing like Fonzie. No, it's like getting more trendy and cool, and everyone's like, oh, I'm going to be spiritual. I'm going to be spiritual. I'm going to open up to spirit, and I'm going to talk to spirits. And it's like we're all like ripping open this veil and going like, I want to see over here, but are we down here because we're pissed off because somebody cut us off on the freeway, so our spiritual credit score is really low? If we open up, we're not going to see pretty things, but they'll pose as pretty things. They'll say they're grandma. They'll say that they're whatever they have to say. So you're going to, before you meditate or before you do any sort of exercise connecting with your higher self or like manifesting money, just real quick on manifestation, because I wanted to teach you guys that's really important. Who's ever done manifesting money stuff? Does it work? Yeah. Okay, so I had a thing where I couldn't have more than $2,000 in my bank account. That's it. It's like $2,000. That's it. I was working my butt off. I make $300 on a session. I was doing like 2 sessions a day, every single day, constantly for months. And it was like, where is all the money? And yeah, I had a lot of new clothes, and I like to shop. But it was just going away. So, but I noticed anytime I'd have over $2,000 in my bank account, like a bill would come in for something and wipe it all out, or I'd be like, let's go to Nordstrom, I'll just spend some extra money. I'll take it back, I swear. Yeah, like at Nordstrom's. That's what I always do, but it doesn't go back. Anyways, point is that the $2,000, I told the guides, why can't I save up money? And I heard, you can't have any more than what your overhead is. Like that's where I was like in my mind, was locked at, if I had my overhead, and that's how most people, subconscious mind says, if I have enough to cover my house and eat, I'm rich. That's it. That's all you need. That's nothing else. So if you are basically like, I've got my house payment paid and I'm paying my car, that's it, And then you make some extra money and then a bill comes in to wipe it out, or your tire pops, or you get sick, or something happens to where, you have to repair something, and then there goes all your extra money. So when I came to the realization, everybody has an amount. It's not just me. Everybody has an amount where your bank account, whether it's $112 or negative 80 or, $50 million or whatever, everyone has a number where their bank account can't go any higher. And if it does, you'll make debt. You'll have something happen to where it comes and eats up the money. Or you'll do like what my dad does. You'll go give it away. people, oh, here, this person needs money. And then later on, it's like, oh, oops. It's like, and then I do that too, because I followed after him. So I go give all the money away. And then I'm like, oh, man, I don't have any money for my bills. I shouldn't have given the money away when I had it. Should have saved it. So what you can do is find out what that amount is, and then go up into that 7th level, connect in with your creator self, and you can either kind of say the intention of, like, I have $5,000 disposable income every month. Disposable. That's the key. You can do all the dream boards in the world. You can say all the affirmations. You can hop around on one leg and howl at the moon and do whatever online tells you to do when you have to manifest. It's like crazy stuff that you have to go through. It's just setting the intention for the disposable income. And that's part of the life purpose. If your life purpose is to make money, but you have a belief that says money is the root of all evil because you have something programmed within you from the church or something from when you were younger, maybe you weren't even raised religious, but your grandparents were, so it was within your field. It's within your field. So you may be blocked by something that you never even experienced, nothing that's existed in your life. So going up to that 7th plane and then just saying, you know, I have this much disposable income. As soon as I realized that, I tricked the system. I started to, if I had $2,000 in my bank account, I would just cash the checks and put them in a box. And within a month, I had $25,000. It was like, boom, wow, awesome. I have a lot of money now. It's like people were calling me, oh, I want to take Reiki, and they were, you know, they wanted to take my classes, which pays more than the sessions, you know, but they weren't calling because I already had $2,000, and I was like, nope, I'm capped. I can't have any more money. So with manifesting, using that technique, I've seen people go from getting like hating their job to getting like their dream job, and then starting to make a ton of money just by figuring out why, or even getting out, like, what am I gaining out of being broke all the time? Oh, I get to be stressed? Okay, what am I getting out of that? Oh, well, stressed people aren't lazy, or stressed people are responsible. You know, people that are stressed and worry about others, they're good people. You know, so it's like you can ask to see like those blocks come forward and then dissolve them. So that technique right there is like, you could take Psych K, you can take Theta Healing, you can take all these really expensive like manifesting millions with people and spend all this money on coaching and everything. And that right there, working with that piece of yourself, is like worth like $1 zillion because you're connecting in with a piece of you that you didn't have access to before, and you're setting the intention from there. Therefore, it's removing everything in your subconscious mind that's in the way. But the thing is, you guys witnessing it. And that's the whole quantum thing about it. So whether you have to imagine the blocks to making $1 million and being a famous actress or something like that, if you have to imagine them as a pile of dirt, the blocks, and then just watch as it's dissolved, as long as you are intending to be up there on that 7th floor up there, connected to your higher self. I recorded the recording, so I'll put it on the website so you guys can listen to it. I'll just have it on my website for free, so you can listen to it there. But you can do that as a daily practice, just setting your intentions, or even write out your to-do list and say, okay, here's my to-do list. Are there any blocks? Oh, wow, it looks like there's some blocks. Okay, higher self, remove those blocks, and then just visualize and imagine. You'll start to realize the more you do it, the more you're going to notice that you see certain things at certain times that mean certain things, like dirt means this, a hook means that, you know, a stick means that, goop means that. So you'll start to learn the language of your higher self, which is awesome because, yeah. So anyways, okay, so break time. Jeff got water?
Yep,
right out there?
5-minute break time. I'm going to stay talking for the people online. I'm going to do a little bit of a commercial. But you guys can listen to it if you want. For those people online, first, you should go out and get all of the books that we've done because they really do explain all this in greater detail. So actually, the very first book is one that I did not participate in, the Snow Globe itself. It's only like 50 pages. You know, Marissa, what is this book?
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
How much is this book?
Oh, the snow globes. Oh, shoot. I think all the books are
But for the people online, can they get it on Amazon?
yeah, for
I think it's only, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Snow Globe
not, it's very, very inexpensive online. People online, you should go and get the Snow Globe by Marissa Morris and Joseph Morris.
takes like 20 minutes to read.
And it's really the basics of everything that Marissa teaches. Then the next book to get, for those of you online, is A Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. This is the first book Marissa and I wrote together. It explains how I became involved with Marissa and has the first time that we did some channeling together. And it's a really interesting book and gets into topics that are far beyond what one would normally think in the first book. Then we have, well, actually, I don't have a copy right here, but I think the second book was A Skeptic's Guide to the Tao. To the Tao, and we get into what is the Tao and the double Tao, and it's really interesting. Then we have A Skeptic's Guide to Your Spiritual Credit Score. This really explains in more detail the whole concept of the spiritual credit score. We have A Skeptic's Guide to Reincarnation. We have A Skeptic's Guide to Heaven. And I know coming soon we have A Skeptic's Guide to Climate Change. A Skeptic's Guide to Psychology. A Skeptic's Guide to Healing and Medicine. No, we don't have that one yet. And anyway, there's going to be many other titles coming. You can get these all on Amazon. You can get them as Kindles, and you can get them as books. And at the waterfrontdigitalpress.com website, there's a Skeptic's Guide where you can share information. One of the things that's amazing about Marissa is, unlike all these other teachers, there's not sort of buy this and then get this and then get this, and before you know it, you're going to spend $10,000, $20,000 becoming this great, wise person. Really, the exercises in every single one of these books has exercises in it. They're so simple, they seem child's play, literally. And they are so simple, but they actually work. And so just as Marissa, and was just with manifesting money, we do the same thing for manifesting health, good relationships. Really, the information that's in these books works. And for spending $10 or $20, you can get what you probably spend $10,000 or $20,000 to achieve in other ways. So it's kind of absurd and ridiculous that we haven't set this up really as a commercial venture per se. But as I hope we'll explore in the trance session, we're really here doing this as part of a larger mission, and we're not too concerned about the commercial financial aspects of this. They'll take care of themselves. And fortunately, I'm starting with a fair amount of wealth here. So this is really an opportunity to discover information that you can share with anyone. It doesn't matter, their socioeconomic class, their educational background. Some of the questions that I ask are relatively sophisticated, but Marissa herself is very unsophisticated intellectually. So it's a nice balance. And so I encourage everyone to get these books. And I encourage those of you who are still here and who have gotten the books, do go on Amazon, post reviews. Really, all we're trying to do is share this information with as many people as possible. So we really appreciate all the support. And I'm thinking Marissa will be back in a few minutes, so you guys online can take a little break. And when we come back, hopefully we'll experience a little